A lot is intertwined into our daily lives because it is emotional. It's emotional support as a social support. It is food is something that also helps with prevention of symptoms of diseases and side effects of treatment. And the reason I say that, I practice in cancer where we see a lot of treatment side effects. So, and that is where our nutrition, it serves as a supportive care, and it is very very important, and it helps so much, and we have seen that from our practice. And over on everything, it's the improvement of quality of life. Food is not just a basic need. It is associated with joy, happiness, control, carings, celebrations, memories. So we cannot think of a event without having food. Food is something, it brings joy in our life. It brings happiness. Another thing very important is, we food is the only thing that we have control over. Like in the hospital settings, I have been always practicing in the hospital, so it is something that people complain about the food. Why? Because that is where the control, we cannot say that we won't take this medication, but we want to make. So when for even with in the outer world, when uh, we are talking to people, or people wanting your advice for nutrition, it is always best to get them involved. And then, because that is where they will follow, if they also are in charge of their own diet. Food is related with caring. If someone is sick in the family, every family member, our relatives, friends, they bring food, they try give to show that they're caring. Celebrations, of course, and memories, because with foods, each food has its own history in a family. It brings back memories, like our childhood memories, the smell, the taste, everything, we bring back memories. So it is just a little more than uh, a basic need. Nutrition is essential. It's an essential component of life. The needs change during each stage of life. Like a child, pediatric population will have a different need versus an adult population, and it changes throughout. Nutrition through balanced diet ensures that all nutrients are met. Good nutrition ensures one stays healthy and happy. Essential nutrients, the macronutrients, including protein, carbohydrate, and fat, as well as micronutrients such as vitamins and minerals. Water is something you need to, for normal as well as in the clinical setting. Staying adequately hydrated is one of the most important thing. And there is no one ideal macronutrient or micronutrient which is magical, which will help us. But sometimes we tend to know that this is a superfood, so or super nutrient, we will have this and not. No, it has to work, the each nutrient works with another nutrient synergistically to give the benefit. So macronutrient, carbohydrates. Nowadays, there's a trend, and my previous speakers have already mentioned about it. I'm sure about how there is trend of not having too much of carbohydrate, because we are more concerned about weights. And but no, carbohydrate is necessary. It fuels the body and promotes good health. It is the preferred fuel for active brains and muscle. So it trend of low carbohydrate or avoiding carbohydrates altogether is not good. Reducing carbohydrate, those with added sugar, is okay. So you have to be mindful of choose whole grains rather than ones which are processed and has added sugar. But don't avoid it. Another thought process is that people who are diabetic should not have carbohydrate. No. People with diabetes need to mindfully incorporate carbohydrate in their diet. When we are teaching the patients, we do counseling, we tell them the carbohydrate counting, that spacing, the carbohydrate goals for their days. So, and they can space accordingly throughout the day. Carbohydrate goals for those with diabetes vary from person to person, and distributing the carbohydrate choices, even properly throughout the day helps better glycemic management. So it's for say, suppose we have an invitation in the evening, we tend to think that since we are going to eat out in the evening, let's not eat any carbohydrate breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If and we have diabetes. No, that is not a good. So it's spacing, the amount of carbohydrate, the consistency is very important. Carbohydrate plays an important role in a healthy diet for people with or without diabetes. Protein, of course, building block for tissue in the body, including muscle and body. Needed for growing and repairing. Requirements depends on several factors: age, activity, health status. If someone is going to undergo a surgery, or probably rehabilitation with a good source of protein, is treatments, certain treatments, cancer, the health conditions require more protein, certain ones require less protein. So it will depend on several factors. It helps to fight infection. It keeps the body uh, in balance. So protein can be found in both animal and plant-based foods. So if we do not have enough carbohydrate and have a high protein diet, the protein will not be able to work the way it should, because it is doing the work of the carbohydrate. So that is where the balanced nutrition comes into place. Fat, another vital for our body as an energy reserve, for insulation, protection of organs, and for the absorption of transport of fat soluble vitamins. Low fat or zero fat is not helpful except in certain specific medical conditions such as bile leak management, where we have seen, research has shown, and from a clinical practice we have seen that low fat diets might help, but just fat is bad, that is not right. So having the right proportion of everything in a balanced way is what which creates a balanced nutrition. Micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals each has its own role in our overall health, and it's vital to healthy development, growth, disease prevention, and of course, well-being. Mostly, it can be obtained from a diet. If we are having a balanced diet, we do not need to take vitamins as supplements. But if someone is not having a balance, that's where the requirement comes from. But if we eat a healthy diet, it's obtained from the variety of foods we eat. If we do not get enough vitamin intake, then vitamin deficiencies are commonly seen. Eating a nutrient rich food can reserve certain deficiency, reverse, I'm so sorry, reverse certain deficiencies like iron. I just chose one example to give you, because there are iron sources rich that are found in food which can help uh, to reverse the conditions. Ragi, chana, eggs, rajma, there are a lot more, and vitamin B12 sources, fish, chicken, milk. So, healthful eating. Make most of our meals with vegetables and fruits. Aim for color and variety, because, as I said, each food, each fruits, each vegetable has its own set of vitamins and minerals, which and other nutrients which will be helpful for the body. Add whole grains, whole wheat, barley, quinoa, brown rice, the, any of the whole grains are good. And power of protein is important, and we do all know that, and we recognize that legumes, fish, chicken, nuts, these are good sources. Use fat in moderation. Low fat and fat free does not mean healthy, because if a food does not have low fat, does not have fat, it will add something else, because to uh, make the food palatable, it has to add either sugar, salt, or excess something to make up for that low fat. So always low fat or fat free does not mean that it's we are eating healthy. You have to read labels, which was the topic this morning. Avoid sugary beverages, fruit juices. Eat the whole fruit and drink plenty of water. Eat a variety. eat a seasonal produce, and eat locally grown foods, because now there is a trend of having the food which are very um, maybe they are considered superfood in a particular region, but we have to make sure that the food which is grown locally, they have more, because it is suitable for our genetic composition. Plant-based diet, there's a lot of research which shows it has a lot of various health benefits and are linked with a lower risk of heart disease, cancer, and other chronic diseases. Most foods in plant-based diets offer different and important health benefits. Local produce packs the biggest nutrition profile. Eat as much as possible. Plant-based diets increases nutrient diversity, because each food has its own set of nutrition, so that is very important. Anti-inflammatory compounds in them benefit the health of our brain, optimizes the fiber intake in our diet, and there's a lot of research again for the benefits of fiber, the high fiber diet, including blood sugar control, gut health, regular bowel movements, and weight management. Phytonutrient is something that is very well talked over nowadays. Sometimes it is also called as phytochemicals. So they are substances that occur naturally in plant-based diets, and the word phyto means plant. So mostly all plant-based diets will have that. They help to protect the plants against diseases. So there is no one food that will help. So fruits and vegetable, grains, beans, and other legumes, nuts and seeds, you have to have all of them. Combination of everything, and it helps. The studies have shown that any diet rich in phytochemicals help to strengthen our immunity. It helps to protect the healthy cells, um, destroy the unhealthy cells. So there is a lot of research going on the uh, subject of phytonutrients. Substances have anti-inflammatory, immune boosting properties, helps in cardiovascular health, cognitive function, of course against cancer, and some of the common ones are carotenoids, flavonoids, but there are others also which are like catechins. But I'm just discussing two for the sake of time. Carotenoids are these are valuable sources of vitamin A and found in most fruits and vegetables and beans, and particularly in orange and foods or reddish foods like carrots, sweet potatoes, pumpkins, mangoes, papayas, tomatoes, and squash. Alpha carotene and beta carotene are found in pumpkin. They have anti inflammatory benefits and good for eye health. Lycopene, reddish pink uh, pigment, which is commonly found in tomatoes, helps protect skin, sun damage. A lot of research on breast cancer, prostate cancer, which has helped with the increased intake of lycopene. Lutein and xanthine spinach helps protect eyes, age-related macular degeneration, eye conditions like cataracts. Beta cryptoxanthin bell peppers, which are incorporating them in our diet, and it helps lower bladder cancer, lung cancer, colon cancer. Flavonoids, chemical compounds which are believed to provide protection against uh, cancer again, are found in apples, beans, cauliflower. These are some of the names, but there are others also. Cocoa flavonols may be particularly helpful for the brain by protecting against loss of neurons and other inflammations in the brain. Dark chocolate with, but when you're choosing the dark chocolate, choose the one with the high amount of cocoa and minimal added sugar. Catechins commonly found in green tea leaves are good for the heart, skin, and memory. So there has been so far whatever I've talked is about the balanced diet. It includes, you have to include all food groups, including carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, along with adequate hydration. According to studies, cancer prevention can be achieved by improving the host immune system through adopting a balanced diet, which is healthful. Again, eating a diet rich in all the colorful fruits and vegetables helps reduce oxidative states because of the antioxidant properties of the fruits and vegetables, and improves cell repair mechanism. The antioxidants in vegetables like carrots, spinach, and other mango, papaya will help in oxidative stress. And I mentioned about cervical cancer, but there are a lot of cancers that it helps in some way or the other. Cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower, cabbage, it reduces the risk of hormone-based cancers as well as breast as well as cervical. Folate, rich in dark green vegetables, beans, and peanuts, can help to reduce the cervical cancer along with folate deficiency. So, balanced diet is no one food can prevent cancer. Eating a variety rich in vitamins and minerals and antioxidant, limiting more pro-inflammatory foods and increasing the increase of anti-inflammatory foods, using more whole food sources instead of supplements, as they cannot replicate the benefits of whole foods. Focus on keeping it simple. So when you're talking with patients or your people who you're counseling, uh, be it a newly diagnosed patient with newly diagnosed, because the patient population I currently see is cancer patient, uh, we try to keep our nutrition counseling, which is something which I give a lot of importance rather than giving set diet charts, or I teach them. And important points I try to kind of follow is in nutrition guidance is avoidance of overly rigid rules for eating. Involvement of the family goes a long way because they are the ones who will be taking care of the patient while we are doing nutrition counseling. Explain the goals for nutrition intervention, provide coping strategies, motivate people to make small changes, and all answer all nutrition related questions with patience, because people want food is, as I said it, just food is something that we have control over, and food is something we know of the most. When we are dealing with patients with a different variety of diseases, we don't know enough about disease, but we know about our food because that's something as part of us. So we might have a lot of questions when we, so as a clinician, one has to be very patient to listen first and also answer all the nutrition questions, and making small changes, not giving them too much, because already with the disease burden they are overwhelmed with all the information they get. So try to make it very simple and choose one or two points which where you can make a change, and that will have an impact on their quality of life. Happy eating, stay calm while eating, no phones, no television, no books. Eat local foods, nutrient rich, it's more sustainable, cost effective, increases diversity, synergetic assimilation of nutrients. As I said, each nutrient work with others too. Eat traditional foods, as I had mentioned previously, that food relates with our memories, flavors, aromas, and memories, and they have stood the test of time. That is very important. Be realistic. Nutrition, as nutritionists, we also eat cakes, ice cream too. So keep the portions. So that portion control is very important. Having everything in moderation and not on a regular basis. Don't be too restrictive because it fails in the long term. Read food labels, especially the ingredient list. The longer the list is, the difficult or the food loses its nutrient. Avoid ultra processed foods, foods high in added sugar, salt, and fat, minimal fiber. Avoid those with too many ingredients listed on the level of the packaged food. Be mindful when you're eating. Enjoy your food. That's the most important thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. In this National Nutrition Month, you have given us a quick revision what we have learned in our bachelor's or in our school, and after that in bachelor's. A quick revision is very much important. Along with that, you have so beautifully connected the what to give for the cancer patient as well. So it's really a very good presentation and detailed presentation. What I can say. Any questions from anyone? Okay.
Thank
So,
you so much.
yes, ma'am. It's our pleasure that you have given your time, in spite of your extreme hectic schedule in your hospital. We know that.
Yeah.
So you have given us the time. You have given us the time for FSTN in the physical mode. Also, you have come in the virtual mode. Also, you have given us the time. Thank you so much for being with us, ma'am.
No problem. Thank you so much. I'm going to log out. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. No issues.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much to those who are the speakers here, Dr. Shomjukta Kaur, along with that, our second speaker, Ms. Minakshi Majumdar, ma'am, the third one, Mr. Arno Mukherjee, and the fourth, but last but not the least, Tia Sinha, ma'am, for giving this wonderful presentation. We are also being thankful to our chef, Rakesh Manna, for judging us, for judging the competition. So the competition announcement will be exactly at 2 p.m. In our YouTube channel. So we will give you the link in the National Nutrition Month celebration group as well. Now I'm just going to give you some news about our FSTN. So I just want to share something that we are going to have some collaboration with various psychological association, and we are going to incorporate some courses not only for the nutrition, but along with that we are going to incorporate some new courses on the psychological counseling, how to counsel the patients, how to counsel the patients when they come to your clinic. Along with that, for the special child, like those who are the autism child, those who have various other neurosystem disorder, for them, this for the special child, what type of nutrition we can give. So not only nutrition, but along with that, how we can do the counseling for this patient. So we will do some collaborative courses are coming just after the puja. And along with that also, we are going to have some sessions, some short term courses, not courses, a short term session on the interview base, that what type of how the student can prepare for themselves when they're going to interview, as well as in the academic prospect along with the clinical prospect in the hospital. And we are going to have some live session as well in the coming future. And in the coming month we will have some live sessions. Those are live from our Facebook page. Already we have done a live from our Facebook page about the UGC guideline on ODL learning, that has created a great confusion in the students. So we have done this, and we have done with the renowned personalities. So we will do again this type of live. And in this Rashtriya Poshan Ma, we have taken an initiative where we are providing every day, in Monday to Friday, we are providing every single video. So you are all in our FSTN group, so you are already aware about that. We are posting 3 vlogs every week. Along with that, in this Rashtriya Poshan Ma, we will post one video every day from our FSTN Facebook page. So please, if you are not there in the Facebook page, please do like and follow our Facebook page. We will share the videos every day, and on Saturday and Sunday, we will share some exciting posters which will give you some new insights. So that will be our what type of initiative, that type of initiative we have taken for the National Nutrition Month celebration by FSTN. Not only this webinar is the one, this is just the beginning. We have started the Rashtriya Poshan Ma this day from 12th September, and it will extend to 11th October. So we will do that type of thing, and along with that we are going to announce that we will have a camp for the cancer patients of Chittaranjan National Cancer Institute, CNCI patient, that will going to held on 16th. And another dietary camp we have organized for the dietary pediatric camp along with the kids Z. So this type of things will come up, and we have organized this two camp with our FSTN team. But yes, we are promising that some another camps are going to be there in the month of September as well as in the month of October. So there we will choose some FSTN students to go with us so that they also can do the diet counseling. So that type of news, these are some newses I just want to share with you all, as you we are a family of FSTN, so we want to have with each other a good relationship with each other. So be with us, be with FSTN always, and for the result keep watching our YouTube channel exactly at 2 p.m., and the you will able to see the result. Thank you so much everyone for joining, and thank you so much for giving us the time in these already in the weekdays. So thank you so much for this. We'll see you again with any other ventures of FSTN. Thank you and good afternoon to all of you. Thank you.